Oh, hello. It's Potato Man. I can't hear you. Whoa. There it goes. I can only hear your sound effects.
Justin makes mouth shapes, but nothing, just nothing.
Not your voice. Your mouth is moving and I hear the cinema. But something is not
in
right.
your ears. Here's my phantom power.
It's coffee time.
It is coffee time. I'm tired. I did one of those. Pull up to I drove in this morning. Pulled into the car park and then checked the calendar. It was like, oh, sweet. Justin's delayed at 30 minutes. And just like curled up in a ball and fell asleep in the car for an extra.
I did that a couple weeks ago because I kept being late to my 11 o'clock recording time here. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I guess we'll just push it back and blame it on the baby, you know?
How are you?
Earlier today. Pretty good. Been out of the shop, but working. Customer bought a bunch of products in November and asked if we could install them, and lives about 3.5 hours from here. So between their timeline and our timeline, it just happened to be this week. And so it was pretty good. Kind of made a little trip of it and stayed out there for a couple nights, and it went. I think the biggest note of it was the first time I did this was the first time I did this for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a guide really to how to do it. I had like weird notes on a spreadsheet that I printed out for myself that were like not even in order.
Yeah.
And it took me like a solid 16 hours, 18 hours to do the first time to install pedestals and like get it figured out. And that first time gave me a ton of information on how to make it better, revise some stuff. This time, I felt like I just got to follow our own guide, which we send to customers. And I was like, this is kind of easy this time, you know? Like, it was just a nice feeling to realize that it was working pretty well. And yeah, it's good.
Fantastic.
Figured out well.
Nice. So was it the full package, like pedestals, ducks, boots?
Yep. All the
Quack,
stuff.
quack.
Everything.
Yeah, awesome.
Everything we could throw at it.
Tool holder holders?
No.
Okay.
I still haven't been getting those to sell yet. So I think I need to show them. I said this last time, but I need to show them better. I need to keep making videos about them.
Yeah. Put them in
The
front
big
of
one
eyeballs.
behind me. Probably can't see
Why
it.
is it big?
That's the Cat 40 size. It's like,
Cat.
it's got to be big. They're big.
Never seen a Cat 40 tool. Okay.
I have one here. They're big. Probably like 40% longer taper. And, you know, instead of 50 mil flange in the center diameter, it's probably like 60 or 70. I don't really remember.
Yeah. Okay. Beefy.
Yeah.
Very good.
A lot difference. How are you?
Does that mean you're going to open up?
I'm George.
Are you going to open up more install options if people are keen on it?
Yeah. It's never something we like promoted, but yeah, it's totally charged a nominal fee to do it. And he was very happy to have me come do it and not have to. I think, you know, modifying your machine, as you very well know, can be nail biting.
Modifying someone else's machine, I imagine, can be even more nail biting though.
It was the first time because I felt like
Yeah.
I am, you know, a cowboy here. You know, I might figure this out. They were very understanding and I worked out a really good deal with them. So this time, what was great about it too is they had the exact same machine as ours. So I like know that thing super well. Like they have small deviations in other sizes and other generations, but it was like a year difference. Just makes it all the easier when it's like so well known to you.
Yeah, for sure. Eric over at Goodwood in San Francisco was FaceTiming me the other day and showing me some details on his Shop Saver. They're quite beefy. Like, there's a lot of steel.
Yeah,
I was surprised.
Right. American.
Made. That's what Eric said. But yeah, like compared to like our machines, which are all just kind of like, they've got steel in them, but they're like, they rely heavily on aluminium extrusion for structure, I think.
Oh, wow.
terms of the bed structure and stuff. There's not much going on under
Right.
there. But that Shop Saver had these huge structural steel
Yeah.
beams going on. And
I think it's
heavy
part
duty.
of why they definitely have some more than maybe I was what I would have understood in the beginning. They have almost 12 inches of clearance under the gantry to the actual bed, and that's like enormous,
huge
for most machines.
Yeah.
You see like 5-axis routers that have that kind of clearance. That, and then there was a customer there at the show that I was at that helped sell me, especially versus like rack and pinion and the ball screws that they have, which I don't know why I'm doing this pitch right now, but you know, all those referral dollars I get from them. But
Ching!
they can't jump off a track, and I accidentally ran a sheet of plywood into the side of my garage off one of the gantry arms, and like is exactly what that guy told me at the show was, you can basically hit it with a truck on one side, it's gonna home the next time on each side of the gantry and be fine. Like it might twist
Yeah,
it,
wow.
you just unbolt it, bring it to the front, bolt it down again, and it just. Yeah, it's a really solidly built thing. Some of the electrical stuff, which is one thing we had trouble, and some of the switches and stuff, not amazing. There's good and bad, I guess, of every machine.
Cool. Nice. Well, I'm glad it went well.
Scorpions?
Scorpions. Oh, yeah. I know you love
You have
this stuff.
scorpions?
So, in our bed, it's where scorpions need to be. I crawled out into the
Oh
car.
my god!
And I was about to drive off, and then I saw my phone is in Do Not Disturb all night, and then I saw a notification pop up from Laura. She sent me a text at 2 a.m. saying, "Hey, by the way, I got bitten by a scorpion in our bed. Just letting you know in case you need to know overnight." And it's like, come on,
case I die.
mate. Yeah, it's a bit bloody late. Get up hours later, see that you've been bitten by a scorpion.
Just shaking your. Come on, get up. Not all of them are poisonous, obviously.
Nah, the ones we have around here are just like really hurts, but they don't seem to be too toxic.
Snakes and spiders in your bed.
Fun times.
At least you recognize it as something to report to the outsiders. Like, isn't this kind of weird?
That's right.
Instead of like, it's every night.
I know you'll appreciate these things.
Yes, I do. Yes, that's
I
great.
often try and get videos for you of the dickhead kangaroos that just try and jump out in front of me on the road, but they run away. They're not very compliant for the camera.
Oh man, kangaroos are amazing. Yeah, good.
Yeah. What's happening over here? Just quotes. That's all we've been doing. That's
Quotes.
not entirely true, but that's what it feels like. Josh and I have been on a quoting bender the last 2 weeks, and for the first time in ages, since I can remember, we've actually hit our quoting target 2 weeks in a row, which feels really good. So very shaky start to the year financially. Well, cash flow wise, cash flow is just terrible. And
I know the
so
feeling.
like as soon as I was back in the office, I was like, right, we got to start quoting hard and hit targets. So yeah, we hit our daily quoting target 5 days in a row, and then clocked our weekly target 2 weeks in a row. So feeling like some good momentum.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's nice. It's kind of feeling much more optimistic than I was a week ago.
Those
About
lukewarm
things.
calls really paying off.
We've started calling them the pie warmer. That list of customers is now referred to as the pie warmer.
It sounds like an innuendo, but I don't. Do you want to explain?
No innuendo. Just
Okay.
keeping those leads warm.
Okay. I see. Yeah.
I feel like pie warmers are a bit of a running joke here in general.
Oh. Okay.
Because there's like unionized, I don't really know this stuff very well, but unionized building sites in Australia, I think, have to have a pie warmer to be like, if you're a developer and you've got a unionized building force, I think you're contractually obliged to have an X number of pie warmers per capita of workers or something.
What? Is that a microwave? Like,
No,
is it
like
it's
a
not an
pie warmer,
appliance.
like a little
No.
oven. Yeah, like
I
a bench
don't know
top
what a
bench.
platform- That's why I was like, what do you mean?
What's he talking about?
So like maybe what you put small pie warmer. Maybe like what we would have in a gas station here, I guess, that has like hot dogs in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That makes so much more sense. I was like, is it a job? Does somebody's job just to warm pies? Okay. Oh, I love that. Union
Yeah.
pie warmer.
Do you
Do you have one of those in your shop?
No. Got a microwave. And just memes in my head. So yeah, quoting lots.
Like thinking of like images out of this.
So something I have been thinking about this week is because I know you know this, but I haven't talked about it here. But we've got a third child on the way, due in the middle of the year.
Oh, daddy.
Oh, daddy, that's right, baby 3, which is frightening.
Congrats.
And exciting, but thanks. I have been thinking a lot this week about how the hell I'm going to take the time off when that comes. All going well. Because at the moment, I feel like my time, I need like 100% of my energy needs to be focused on the business and particularly on sales and quoting and generating revenue. And I'm like, if I take 6 weeks off, if I took 6 weeks off now, which is what I want to take off,
Yep.
come baby time, I don't think I'd have a business at the other end of it. Or it
Dude,
would
I
be
know that
incredibly
feeling.
expensive in terms of cash injection required, which I just don't want to do anymore. So I'm
Right.
like, cool, what has to happen between now and June to ensure that I can actually take that 6 weeks that I want to do and have things work and there be a business to come back to. So yeah, kind of been working on a bit of a hit list of goals over the next few months of things that need to get sorted out and working actively towards them. But yeah, and a big part of that
Sounds like
is
something we should
products.
collaborate on.
Yes. Sure. I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
That's right. Babies?
Yeah.
You've seen my baby.
Yes, there was a very
This
cute
is getting
baby
worse.
off air on the podcast last week. Super cute.
Yeah. Yeah, he's cute. I have been I've been listening intently, but I also made you a nice meme there.
You already made me a meme. A meme.
Meme.
Oh. Instant
But
memes.
it's still got a pie in the middle of the oven, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It does say at the bottom of the warmer, the Saley's warmer. Good job, GPT.
Better than putting customers. Did you ask it to put customers in the oven? Because that would be inappropriate.
No, instead, put customers in the oven. No.
That looks like a official union pie warmer. Nice work.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, it's been a running storyline here, obviously, but just, in general, I thought coming back in the beginning of the year, it was going to be a bit more productive. I thought I would get more done, get more accomplished. Yep, we got good stuff here. There's customers in the oven, in pies.
Come on, send it through.
That might be our show cover photo.
Yes.
Cooking up new customers. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a running storyline, obviously, since I brought up that we were pregnant, and I had the same concerns. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of my concerns have come true, although we haven't gone into like a Jeopardy spiral by any means, but cash flow is tight. We had a terrible sales month in December. Nothing I could do seemingly would bring us out of, which said no product sales seemingly.
Yeah, right.
Had a little bit better job shop sales, but like we continue to have big time lags, and I've got one of our product filaments has been out for delivery since the 17th. That was last Wednesday. It's now Thursday, the 25th. Just keeps saying it's got no delivery date. So that's little stuff. But, we're looking at Erin ending her family leave, as they call it now, and talking about how that's going to work. And it kind of involves both of us doing a bit of more care time, at different times. And so I'm looking at taking more time away from the job instead of adding more in, which is what I want to do for our child, but also that doesn't make for new products and things. So I don't quite know how to handle that. If I could get the cash flow up, I would hire somebody. But, that's probably also something can you replace yourself reasonably, or is that just never turn into a positive cash flow thing for you?
Look, I'm sure there's little instances where it's kind of worked out. Unlike no, there's plenty of instances where I've managed to replace bits of my role. Right. 100%. I'm just aware that at the moment, we've become so reliant on custom work the last sort of year. We've been playing the game of quoting and producing custom work pretty hard and leaning on it for revenue. And sort of our intention has been, cool, let's build this up, get it healthy, so we've got the cash to invest in product development and marketing and stuff to then build up product sales. And it just means that, at the moment, particularly that custom sort of sales funnel, for want of a less gross word, is so reliant on my input, my sort of design input, quoting input, just, what do you call it? Interfacing with humans. Just
that's right. That's my word.
Talking to people, and it's not to say that other people can't do that, but right now, it's super dependent on me to do that. And, I've tried with some success to delegate bits of the sales role. And at the moment, Josh has come on and is helping, 4 days a week with that stuff in terms of in a sort of estimation role. So he's an assistant really to the sales process. He's building the quotes and quotient. He's, teeing up the phone calls with the clients, and he's kind of my sales assistant really, and estimator, and he's building some of the quotes and running some of the calculations in Airtable. So that's kind of allowed me to actually hit quoting target, I think, the last couple of weeks as he's come on board and is finding his feet in that role. But it'll take him a long time to get to the point where he could take that over as an entire process. He's, there's a lot of experience required, I think.
Right. I was only 2 weeks off our intended due date, but I was just thinking you could set all of your goals about 3 or 4 weeks early. That's my advice for doing it again, since I know you've done this already before, but there was stuff that was not finished in time.
Yeah. In terms of where you wanted to be at when the baby arrived.
Prepping Ricky and just all the different things, which, it worked out fine, but I don't know. It's probably what we should be telling each other probably is this is absolutely necessary that these things get moved off of our plates to succeed regardless. But maybe also why we're sitting here with businesses, I guess, and that have continued. I don't know. It's hard. Saunders talks about that too. It's trying to do all these really hard things. And I feel like he's light years ahead of me in terms of people they have, revenue, products, all the things, and yet still doing these really hard things of moving off the purchasing and the, not doing any shipping. And, at one point I didn't think I could ever give anybody shipping of our products. And now it's I don't touch it. I don't even know where half the stuff sits anymore. I have to go out there and sit and dig for where did the extra tape,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think the big thing for me is like I want to put just as much time and effort into the business. It's not that I want to actually really cut back. I mean, I do for that period of time.
Right.
But in general, I do want to put, still continue to put 100% in. But
You did something that made balloons show again on the screen. I don't know.
balloons. Yeah, like I want to continue to put in just as much effort, but I want to sort of break. What's the expression? Like asynchronous
Yeah, right.
communication.
Yeah,
like I want to break. Yeah, like instead of it being reliant on me being here every day, like I want to be able to do just as much sort of intensity, but have it broken up and like come in for a week, do product development, like to get something off the ground, help people do their jobs better, whatever it is, but then be able to step away for an afternoon or a day or whatever it is and not have that break the system. Whereas if I take a day off now, it's like, oh, quote register's going to suffer this week. We're not going to get enough work quoted because Gem only worked for 3 days instead of 4. And then, everything kind of suffers as a result. So, yeah, I just want to kind of break that time dependency.
Right.
I suppose.
Yeah, I definitely know that. That's exactly, it's a huge factor for me too. Like, most of the emailing things, which is how all of our communication happens with customers is, where he just doesn't have the time. It's not his skill set to sit there and communicate with customers about things. So whenever I can't put that time in, it just turns into this time lag of like build up, and then I got to knock it down. And I think between that, we got a weirdly large package coming in.
This summer, Justin's weirdly large package pinched this summer. What's he got? It's unboxing with Justin. Filament.
We got the filament. I had 3 different orders of this. This is our tool tag tower.
Oh,
And we finally got some, so that's good. But now we got way more than we need at the moment, which is great. I don't remember at all what I was saying. I think I was in the middle of saying something.
Scrub back in time. I could have held your thought, but I was making images in DALL-E instead.
I heard you saying this summer as I was talking to the Amazon guy. This summer.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I just sent through it's called the Nerd Podcast. Gems bleeds.
Damn. Yours is disturbing. They look like severed heads. Union Lane Moore's Teddies. Jim's more bleeds.
Excellent. I don't know where we were either. I think you mentioned this the other day, but I think we need to bring back the accountability section of the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have a very small bit of that. The first thing I thought of, and I was like, what the hell are we going to talk about today? I was like, does Gem have a deadline on the Kit configurator?
Shouldn't I? No.
Because regardless of if it's yours or theirs, like if you're not, giving them anything to shoot by, because I don't know, just from the outside, I would imagine that some of your quoting needs could be satisfied by that. And you can then focus on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I need to put a date on it. 5 on the air. It's not going to be January because we're pretty much at the end. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to say by mid-Feb.
I like it.
What
is mid-Feb?
Configurator. What do you mean? Oh, what day?
What day?
God, you sound like my business coach. God damn.
Well,
I love...
Erin does this to me all the time where she's like, we need a date. And I'm like, I don't know. I act like it's like the worst thing ever to pick a date.
I love launching at 5 o'clock on a Friday. So let's go.
I think Jay would be for that. It's soft. You're not going to get crazy traffic.
Jay loves it when I do that. Let's go February 15th. It sounds pretty mid to me.
It's mid. I like it.
Mid. I mean, 14.5 would be more accurate given it's a leap year, but let's go Feb 15.
Do you do Valentine's Day there?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, a
I
little
never
bit.
remember when it is. When is it?
You can have a Valentine's Day launch. Feb 14.
Is that 14?
Anyway.
Yeah, no, that sounds right. Cool. It's in the diary.
Nice. All right, I got a
Valentine's
cool
Day.
one. There's something I wanted forever I just sent you some images. We were using washers underneath these little Mighty Bite clamps, I think you call them.
Yeah.
So the Mighty Bite clamps, obviously. And depending on the material, they kind of want to push back against their backstop. And that's maybe I left slightly too much tolerance, or it was kind of like built so it could slightly vary the material area. So if you put something behind it, you can take up space. So we were using cut washers, which every time you blow the damn thing out and clean it, right, they just go everywhere. And I was like, this is stupid. And we also had one underneath.
Horrible.
And I was like, well, it'd be cool if I could just get something that was like cut for this perfectly. I never took the time to do it until about 2 weeks ago. And I made these little aluminum washers. So they go underneath and then in the back, and they have little notches in case, because two of our fixtures have different heights in the back of the back wall kind of stop area. So you can bend it over. And they were like 86 cents a piece for 50 of them. Which, not a great unit price if you're selling something, but like for a custom fixturing solution, it's like that perfectly solves the problem we had. Super sweet, laser cut, bent in a baggie on my desk.
So good. Including
Very
bending
nice.
and everything. So
Right,
good.
yeah.
Sorry, I kind of stopped listening there. I was so struck by how clean your hands are. It's like, what is going on?
Ooh. In this trade, I think that's a slam. Your hands are so soft. How do you get them so soft?
Is that just to stop them denting the fixture? Is that why there's a washer?
No,
What's the washer
so
do?
it takes up space. So like sometimes, depending on where we order the stock, the extrusion could be slightly wider, slightly smaller. And it could be
I
20
see.
thousandths, right? Like, and that'll, couple tenths of a millimeter, and then it
Useless
doesn't stay
freedom
tight enough,
measures.
right? Yeah,
Divided by 1,000 times
50.
20. Oh, yeah.
0.05.
It's 0.2.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, depending on where we get material, sometimes I get it. For a while, I was getting saw cut material because one vendor could get it that way, and just a tiniest little bit, and now we get parts flying out of the mill. So that extra little part take up is perfect, as well as like it just gives you variability, and so simple to make that in Fusion. And FabWorks made them for us, but we've talked about them before.
Is this for machining the pedestal uprights? That extrusion?
Yep, the
Yeah.
bases and the risers have the same
risers,
style of fixture, and everything's basically the same, just depends on what happens to the parts. Yeah,
Cool.
pretty satisfying.
Very cool. Haas have released a brother competitor.
That's right.
Have
This
they?
was hot on Instagram yesterday.
Hot news.
Hot news from Haas.
Haas
much are
has
they?
released a 40,000 starting price. US.
Cool.
Hot news on the Instagram. A lot of chatter about Insta Machinist chatter. Is that a serif font on the tool changer? Oh, what are you guys doing? Why in the hell? I can't buy it. Can't buy this machine now. I'd have to strip all of those
Dude.
numbers off.
Have you got font allergies?
I do.
Don't know this about you. It's a new fun game I can play. How to trigger Justin with fonts.
Good thing you can't change the Airtable fonts. That's perfect. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Looks
what's
like
the
a
chatter?
Brother Speedio.
What's the deal?
I don't know the size comparison, but they're like, if you're familiar with the Brother Speedios, they're like really, like if you're standing in front of the operating area, they're narrow and then they go deeper behind. And so I think the idea is you can have like a row where you deal with maintenance and stuff in the back instead of most of the Haas's are all on the side. They're very wide machines. Like your chips come out to
I
the
see.
side.
Yeah.
And so I think the form factor is a big bit of that, but then also they've got this turret style tool changer, that's you're staring straight at the front of the machine. Above the spindle looks like a bottle cap, and it's got tools sticking out the sides. And part of the Brothers Speedio is they can tool change in like less than a second or something crazy and be cutting again. And I think a big portion of that's because that turret throws the tool in so fast. So the chatter is they basically copied a Brothers Speedio. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a form factor.
Yeah, cool. I'll take one. Thank you.
Yeah. All of these images on Haas's website are renderings. So interesting. Wonder if they've got any to look at yet.
Productive.
I saw somebody say on Instagram that they priced one out and got to 80 grand real fast. And then the comments were like, yeah, you could just get a Brother Speedio then.
Yeah, right.
That, like,
how much is a Speedio? That sort of money?
Start at like 70 or 80, and most people put them in the 105 range, I think, 110.
Yeah.
You can keep going with, different 4th axis, 5th axis stuff. I don't know if they do 4th axis.
Yeah, cool.
Interesting. Figure we should talk about CNC stuff.
Yeah. CNC stuff.
I took a photo. I didn't send it to you. I was mentioning we were working on our assembly area, and part of that's we need a new like assembly workbench. And I've looked at available ones, and it's just, I don't know. I always go back and forth whether we should just buy something. And I was watching kind of used workbench stuff around here, and nothing really like seemed to make sense. And so we were chatting kind of size and what we wanted, and it's just something really basic. I just made this designs 1/4 of a table base, and then it just mirrors in Fusion. And so it's pretty parametric, and the idea was that we could make it out of any sheet material. Could probably technically make it out of like a 2x4, like stick material too. But, it automatically dog bones everything. You can change how many plies are on each leg. So I think we're doing like 3 plies of 3/4. And then there's dowels integrated, so you can quickly, glue it up. I'm sure there's easier ways. It's just what came to mind, and it all fit on one sheet of plywood, which is pretty satisfying. So Ricky's currently gluing that together, and
cool.
We're gonna have some like 1-inch HPL material that we kind of reclaimed locally from a business that was moving, and that'll be the top. Holy shit! We got 4 more big boxes.
It's more unboxing with Justin. Zippity-doo, what is your dog bone solution these days on a project like that?
I don't know if it's easy to verbally describe. I do it by since they don't have to change much, it's like only changing maybe position, or like I have a parameter for the dog bone, so the diameter, and I make it like we use 3/16 drill, so it's 0.188 inches. Then I draw a 45-degree line from the corner. That's 90% of the dog bone size.
Yeah.
And then you put the circle in the center of that line.
Yeah.
So it just does like a 10% hit into the corner perfectly.
Cool.
I can show you an image. And that seems to work pretty well. I think there's still plugins, but I keep having so many ding problems with those things that I just was like, this is easy. I can just draw a sketch. And
it's so much more robust if you model them in terms of parametric ability down the road.
Right.
Yeah. Nice one.
I think we'll make some, if I ever get back to making videos, I was kind of wanting to make some little video out of this and probably share the file for free or something.
Yeah, nice.
If you have a router, you can make a table.
You can make all sorts of things.
More than just tables, even.
Really? I haven't made anything for a while.
Oh, that image
what was the last thing I made? Something useful. I've been designing a bunch of stuff. That is the nice thing about being stuck to the custom quoting desk, is that it does involve some design work, whether it's like concepts, but it's also evolving into actually doing some detailed design as well. Like I'm working on a desk for someone at the moment, like an audio production desk.
Yep.
And that's been a fun challenge because I've been deep in a rabbit hole of like researching rack mounting conventions, rack mount strip for like pro audio gear and
Yes.
computer servers and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's like, cool, how's this guy going to get his like rack mounted Mac Studio in under the desk and then his audio interface and blah, and like, so it's taken me a surprising amount of time to like research all the standards, draw them in Rhino, check them, cross-reference them against the gear that he's going to get in there, make sure that it's all going to work and like the depth still okay. It's like, it's been quite labor intensive, but quite enjoyable. And then working out how to adapt, because I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to put rack mount stripping on a kit of parts. Like,
Interesting.
oh, you want a pro audio rack gear into your kit of parts setup? It's like, cool, we could do that. So 3D printing little adapters to get the rack mount onto the round dowel and stuff. It's been good.
Right. Cool.
Yeah, it's been an enjoyable process.
Did you? This is a little bit of thinking about that. Did you get any farther with your dowel making machine?
Dowel maker, no. Got quotes. Still only got quotes from one place, which I need to do a few more. But it looks great. Money's minimal.
Yeah,
it's just as soon as there's a bit of cash flow, I think I'll pull the trigger on one of them. Yeah. They are, what was it? He sent it to me. Maybe even Custodian at Debris Brooms, who's also an American.
Yes.
Has been researching such things. He sent me another quote from, I think it was from Alibaba as well, from a different supplier. Anyway, I just need to shop around a bit more. Do some more research.
They were doing some really cool, I don't know, I'll have to link his account. Bought a extruder and was crushing up HDPE and extruding filament on the stories the other day, and I was like, ooh, this is exciting. It's like,
no,
the more material we have piling up, I don't know if it'll ever be good enough to run through as like parts again, but especially like when we were having issues with the oh god, I didn't say this, with Alfred, our original printer. It was a modification.
Alfred?
That's what we call the first X one.
All right.
There was a modification that was on top of the extruder that we put in from Maker World. It was hitting the freaking enclosure on the inside, and support caught that. They're like, you should take that little mod out. And I was like, oh. So that fixed that problem, and it's been printing wonderfully. But in the time, we did produce, way too many bad tool tag towers. And so now I've got this like sparkly black parts that we've just been piling up in the recycling bin. I'm like, God, what if we could crush this all up and turn it back into probably like half a roll of filament, like not that much.
Yes, huge amount of effort. Yeah, Debris Brooms has got a really interesting setup. Like, I don't know, he's posted a bit of stuff in stories showing a few sneak peeks of the workshop. It looks quite interesting, like a super lean sort of modular manufacturing cells set up for different processes and stuff. I'm super intrigued. I was disappointed actually when I realized he was in the States, because I was like, oh damn, I wanted to visit. It looks cool.
He's got a website. I know, I should ask him. I know he listens to this, so what? It feels like he's like memeing or something, just like making jokes. There's no posts, but I've seen some good stories.
Well, we can be his encouragement to put some more content out in the world.
Right.
Pew pew.
I got more brass to machine. Got those pulls to
more
finish.
of those handles.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've been
Can you machine that dry?
No, just coolant.
Coolant.
Maybe could. Probably could. But
why would you?
I know coolant, and that's just what we use, I guess. The coolant we got was definitely intended to be like universal, so it's not I don't know if it does anything to it. We put down little film filter paper in the bins because they don't produce a ton of chips for that. We've got like a 5-gallon bucket full from the last time we did it, basically. And, it gets mildly mixed with a few chips of aluminum, but it's pretty separated. I don't personally, my like mental process around like, we got to change materials. It's like kind of messes with my brain a little bit. Like, oh my God, they're going to get mixed, like, and I know it's just like people just do this all the time and it's not a big problem. They put plastic and like I was watching Lee Nelson is a really high-end woodworking tool maker here. And they had this video on their YouTube I watched last weekend and they make like the handles for jack planes, vertical mills. And they just like set up like 5 blocks of wood. And I'm thinking like, just get like a cheap router. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're not running coolant in there. Like, what? It seems like a big waste of machinery.
Yeah, wild. I mean, if you're making premium product, right?
I know. But like for you and I, it's like, can you imagine spending 80 to 90 grand on a mill that has quite the precision that you can't really ever pull off in wood anyway? Like,
Yeah, interesting.
Union pie warmer. I have a lot of products in development that are with other partners. So like people making stuff for us. And some of that's just waiting on cash flow now too. Product development is expensive and ordering runs of things is a lot of cash just sitting somewhere. And
scary. Yeah.
A lot of the stuff we end up making, almost all of our products, we make ourselves and we do small batches or lean kind of on demand in various states of finish. And that makes it really affordable to like not have 10 grand in products just sitting doing nothing. So, yeah, a lot of things we could have out, I think. Just a bit more money in the bank.
Cash injection. Yeah. Yeah.
Invest now.
Invest. Head to investment at pdx.com. It's a funny one, isn't it? It's like, so I like walk around our workshop and just look at how much kind of dead material we've got sitting on the racks. So we've got a lot of pallet racking. And, we did a big tidy up at the start of the year and shuffled some stuff around, but there's still so much stuff out there. So much money sitting in raw plywood, particularly.
Is there any resale market of that for you where you are? Like, can you sell raw plywood?
There is now. People are desperate for birch.
Ooh.
Had a cabinet maker in town drop in recently and buy a whole bunch of premium white birch because he couldn't get it anywhere. And I was like, I've got a few sheets sitting there still that we don't really need. So yeah, if I made an effort on like Facebook Marketplace, I'm sure I could chip away at it and clear it and make a little bit of cash on the side. But it's just hard to prioritize that time, to make a few $100s here or there versus put my time into quoting, a whole bunch of stuff. So, but what I was going to say was just like, yeah, we're the same. We kind of produce on demand in a reasonably efficient, lean way, but at the same time, we haven't ordered batches of things from people for our own product, but we have all this money sitting on the shelf in terms of stock, like plywood stock that, we have to buy in reasonable volume to get the price we want and have it sitting there. So,
I mean, I do think about
not dissimilar.
Right. I think about that story that John always shares, Saunders, about seeing that gun producer in Europe and when he was first starting out, they claimed to be lean, right? And he asked him on the tour that he was on, why do you have so much raw material sitting around? He's like, well, I have 2 years of backstock because people trust us to have these products in stock, and that amount of cost sitting there is like nothing compared to if everything else can't be produced because we don't have raw material. And so they have like 2 years of raw material just backstocked. And different scenarios, where we haven't been in business for 50 years and have figured out our finances, but you know, there's some truth to that too, where it's like, if we don't have certain things, you don't do anything, right? You don't get anything accomplished.
Yeah.
Or you have an ice storm and you've been ordering filament on demand and then it takes 15 days to get it again. Really messes you up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it really stuffs you up. Yeah, you need those raw ingredients on hand. I think, particularly now more than ever, there's more insecurity around material supply for whatever reason.
Right.
And it's become more normalized, I suppose, for there to be delays and that to be okay, which is fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. But like, if that's the system we're operating in,
sure.
And then it's like we ran out of clear coat, like the clear coat we spray at the end of the year. It's like, well, how did we run out of clear coat? It's like, oh, well, because, the supplier keeps delaying our shipment. It's like, yeah, but we know they delay our shipment almost every order. So like, let's just order 4 weeks earlier. Like, that's a known thing that happens. Like, let's get ahead of that. Ensure that we've got enough of this like critical ingredient to all of our products in stock.
There's some stuff like that. Like, I have not figured out how to make those things. I just can kind of think of a way to do it right now with Airtable. So like, everything that's a product related thing that we need to track is in Airtable always. But then we've been using that VQuo software, which for the most part has been pretty good. And one of the things that's best about it that I just didn't have really functionally is I do purchase orders through it, and there's a tab called Demand Forecast, which I honestly don't know how much to trust of it, but it does give me something to look at. You can say, all right, last 30 days of sales, what do we need? And then I can say, I need to stock for 8 weeks. You can also then put in your lead time for items. And I think that plays into a factor of like, you need to order 16 to make the next 4 weeks work. It's kind of been working. I wish I had a thing for all of our stuff like that. The other things that you don't keep as products that aren't in that system are, like, do we have enough paper towels? Do we have finish? Like, that's hard to keep track of.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have the dream is to have a contained, product line where the inputs for every product. Right. So every time you sell the widget, it deletes X resources from your inventory and then tells you ahead of time.
Right.
Projects based on sales. Yeah. The product-based dream.
It reduces your human calories needed for each time you work on that product. So we know how many calories to produce and keep in stock all the way down to that level.
In the pie warmer, as opposed to the custom world where it's like every job, we're getting better at this. Like, we're quoting ideal work where custom work is more and more similar and more aligned with our processes and stuff. But that said, every job's still different. So every job that we win comes through the system. So, right, what do we need for this job? Okay, cool. Right. Oh, that's different. Yeah, make sure we need to order that, or make sure to communicate that change in this design and blah, blah, blah.
I think where you're way ahead of us in that regard is like your projects, both custom and product, go through the same Airtable, right? Like, you're still seeing it all in one place, whereas very little of our products are customized. So I guess we don't have issues because of that so much, but too many places.
Yeah, Jay just built it's the same Airtable base, but like just rolled out some new views, new tables, kind of rehashed without doing a full rebuild, kind of rebuilt our work in progress, like production view that went live this week to the team. And it's just little quality of life things like going through and redoing all the kind of production statuses to make more sense to our current processes and adding a lot more steps to the stages. But in a way that kind of makes a bit more sense to everyone. And also because there's more steps now, we can trigger more automation. So as things move through, it's like certain people will get a notification like, cool, this job is at this stage. This now requires your action to do blah, 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 blah.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is nice. It's looking good. It's looking good. It's pleasing. Pleasing. Send you a little screenshot of kind of what that looks like at the moment. And there's colors and emojis and things now, which for our team, most of us on the team are very sort of visual people. It's actually been really nice just to have that little injection of color and icons.
I like the little seal as a little toy gun. Pew pew. Pew pew.
Justin's cooking up more customers that looks more like a pressure cooker in the wood shop.
That I did not choose.
This makes for great podcast content. Just
High warmer
Justin and Jem making images in DALL-E.
Right. It's very good use of time.
Yeah.
But,
You've survived the ice.
yeah, it turned out to be pretty terrible. I don't know if you've caught it. Probably not. I'll send you a few. Maybe I'll share some. Across the country, actually, there's been some pretty wildly terrible ice storms. Like there's a video of in St. Louis of a fire truck sliding in a neighborhood. It looks like a toy, and it just blasts through some cars and almost hits a house. And there's all these videos of cars sliding around Portland and houses being split in half by trees. And yeah, we got lucky. We did not have much of any of that. So
Yeah.
it's getting better.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let's do it.
That seems good enough.